It's like, I would say, roller coaster journey with, a lot of balancing, learning. I'm a BTech graduate from ECE and I have almost 4 years of experience working as a software engineer in the IT industry. You stop, take a break for 10-15 days, you lose all that muscle memory and then you have to start back from again. I think that was very important, being consistent. But when I have taken my first GMAT attempt, my CR was very bad. Forget CR, my whole verbal score was very bad. Right? Yeah. So after I got 600, I was like, what the hell is happening? I had literally no idea. I was like, uh, what is this? What is happening? During my first attempt, it's true that I was not consistent little bit because I was my work was very hectic during that time. GMAT is not just a test of concepts or following the approach. It's all about you being consistent and building that memory and mental preparation.
Hi, Mounica. Congratulations on your 700. And thank you for making the time out today, to do this video debriefing session with us. What a journey it has been. A 160-point improvement and 10-point improvement across both Quant and Verbal to a Q48 and a V37. So it has been a long journey. It has been a journey with lots of ups and downs. So if you have to tell me one or couple of key takeaways from this journey, what would that be?
Hi Rashmi, thank you and thanks to you and e-GMAT as well for all the support during this time. And coming to the key takeaways of it, yeah, it's like, I would say, roller coaster journey with a lot of balancing, learnings, and GMAT just not only made me learn the concepts which are given for us in our GMAT exam, but also while writing the exam, I realized that one needs to be very calm and not rush things over. Only then in anything you can succeed.
Yeah, that's very well said, I would say. It's not just applicable for GMAT journey, I would say it is applicable for anything that you set out to achieve in your day-to-day life also, right? When you're calm, things get easier and they come your way, right? So awesome. And we will talk more about the journey and about these takeaways that you just spoke about and how did you manage to eventually get to that 700 club, right? So
Yeah.
first, would you just give our viewers an insight into what do you do, what is your background, and where does GMAT fit into your entire scheme of things?
Yeah. So I'm a BTech graduate from ECE and I have almost 4 years of experience working as a software engineer in the IT industry. So my dream to take GMAT was, I wanted to upskill myself and into a managerial position. So and that was my key, point when I decided to take the GMAT exam.
Okay. And I assume that I think you decided on doing the GMAT about a couple of years back, and
Yes.
you did mention that you dabbled a bit in self-study too,
Yes.
So how did that turn out as in?
Well, I'm a working professional, so I did buy some books out there, started
Mhm.
self-studying for 1 to 2 months. Then I realized that yes, I was able to grasp the concepts and do the questions what are given in the notebook, but they are like
Mhm.
very limited. Or not just that, we are taking the GMAT exam on a online or either in a test center which is on a screen,
Mhm.
and both of them differs. And not just that, the content we are preparing. See, we know at the end of the day, all can learn the concepts, but the thing which is important is to manage all the parameters given in the GMAT exams. Suppose about the timing, since GMAT is an adaptive test, we needed to get the questions medium, hard, right questions, and I was not able to figure out in which topics was I faltering and in which topics I was
Mhm.
good at, so that I can concentrate on those on my weaker areas and what
Mhm.
would be my expected score. Like I can't say when I'm doing the books and all, like what would be my expected score in the GMAT. So
Mhm.
then I thought that no, I should go for an online course, which is
Mhm.
easy for me since I'm a working professional. It would be easy for me to do in wherever I go, maybe.
Mhm.
few minutes or few hours in office, or when I come back from office at home, or when I'm traveling, it's convenient for me to do it.
Got it, got it. So I'm sure when you look for an online course, there's that plethora of information, so many service providers. So how did you zero in on, okay, this is the course that works for me and maybe fits my requirements?
Yes, honestly, I did do a lot of research on various, courses available online.
Mm-hmm,
But then my main factor was ease of use, topic-wise feedback, and then where a place where I can work on all my weak areas,
mm-hmm,
feedback, which
mm-hmm,
shows me where I'm faltering and which area am I faltering.
mm-hmm,
So I was looking for all these things, and also I wanted to, time my do some sectional test in a timed manner, so that I'll not, I'll be ready for the GMAT environment. So which is why
mm-hmm.
I was looking into all these factors one by one, and finally zeroed it down to e-GMAT.
Got it. And yes, you came on board. I think you took your first Sigma X mock to understand your starting scores. That didn't go too well, right? Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I think you got a 540 with a Q38 and a V27.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think when you're starting out, it's not that everybody starts out at a higher
Hmm,
ability. So
hmm,
that
hmm.
was where you're starting out at. But from there to your score now, it has, in quant, you've improved from a Q38 to a Q48, and in verbal from a V27 to a V37. So that's quite a bit of improvement, I would say. So let's talk about that, right? So let's look at verbal to start with. So what were your major challenges when you started out, and how did you overcome them during your preparation and just
Oh,
improve by those 10 points?
okay. So when I did take the mock of first mock without doing any preparation in
Mm-hmm,
e-GMAT, I got 540. So, and while I was doing the concepts course in GMAT in the initial stages after my first mock,
mm-hmm,
the one thing I noticed what I couldn't focus for a more time. Say, suppose, I couldn't do more than 5 questions in a focused manner.
mm-hmm,
That was one of the main drawbacks. So, and I slowly started building it, working for maybe, solving the questions for half an hour, maybe
mm-hmm,
slowly, gradually increasing the time. That's why I built my muscle slowly. But and then the the meaning based approach in the SC, and then the feedback provided, especially, and then the practice quizzes, especially after each feedback, and in the end when you take sectional marks after each concept is done. Say, suppose
mm-hmm,
SC is done, you take a sectional marks, then you get to see at what point your understanding of the concept is, and then
mm-hmm,
going back revising. I think these are
mm-hmm,
all helped me,
mm-hmm,
and also especially consistency. So it's always there that whenever you stop, take a break for 10-15 days, you lose all that muscle memory, and then you have to start back from again. I think that was very important, being consistent.
mm-hmm. Got it. I do remember that you faced quite a lot of challenge in CR to start with, right?
Yes.
Free thinking did not come easily, but then
Mm-hmm.
eventually you got a hang of it, and I think you could see the difference that the approach
Mm-hmm.
made. So could you give us a little insight into that?
Yes. So when I first, so forget about the first mock, second mock, I was around 670, I believe. Verbal was my CR score was about 92 percentile. But when I have taken my first GMAT attempt, my CR was very bad. Forget CR, my whole verbal score was very bad.
Mm,
So I think what went wrong was the timed environment, and it was not in my comfort zone, and the time which I was when I was taking the exam was not in my comfort zone, and I was mentally exhausted because I haven't took any mocks or any sectional tests before writing the exam. I was so mentally exhausted, and I have taken the quant first and then went to verbal second. I was very exhausted that time, and I was very wary of the time that I couldn't concentrate, and I couldn't, follow the approach which we have been taught in CR, or maybe RC or S. And I think that's what went wrong and eventually got me the score of 600, which was way less than what I got in my second mock.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And I think there's also this thing called in between my second mock and my original first attempt GMAT. I was not consistent with CR, especially. Like I
Yes.
took, and I was like, I'm very good at CR. Let me focus on some other weaker areas. I think that's what also made my, my strength, which was like around 92 percentile in CR, made me totally forget the memory which I have about how to solve the CR questions with me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And yeah, then you basically worked on it through an elaborate
Mhm.
uh, plan which helped you build that muscle so that irrespective of whatever you apply the
Mhm.
process so that you do justice to the ability that you built, right?
Yeah, so after I got 600, I was like, what the hell is happening? I had literally no idea. I was like, uh, what is this? What is happening? And I just sent you the email, sent you my score, and then you were like, no, this is not what you are supposed to get. You are much more better than this. Let's give it one more attempt to it. I was okay, yeah, let's. I was like, that time, so I was very, I was not confident about taking it again. So I think I was
Mm-hmm.
like, GMAT is not in me to take it. So then, I got to talk with you and you were like, no, you can do it. Just let us give one more attempt.
Mm-hmm.
So I think throughout this journey, the thing which helped me from 600 to 700 was you giving me the confidence that no, you can take this again and get a very good score. And thanks for that. During this 3 months now, where I have taken the second GMAT attempt, I think the things which I have worked on was I was consistent, and I started taking sectional tests. I started building that stamina of taking the test, one after the other. First you take verbal, and then you take quant, and then and I remember in my first GMAT attempt, I was not sure about what pattern should I take. I was like, let's go for either quant or verbal. I thought I'm good at quant, so I'll go with quant. I was not like, I didn't think about that, 2 hours,
Mm-hmm.
2.5 hours test is going to, drain me out. I couldn't have that energy to focus in the verbal after quant. But this attempt, though, I was sure that I have to take verbal,
Mm-hmm.
and then only I can go for quant because quant, which I'm very good at. So it doesn't drain much of my energy when compared to verbal. And also, I have practiced lot of sectional tests, taking them one by one verbal, 1 hour sectional test, and then I go for quant, making me have that focus and muscle stamina to attempt these questions.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, and you said that during our conversation when we met after the 600 attempt, I did mention that I know this is not a true reflection because the data gathered on the platform from you attempting the question said otherwise, right? So that's where the whole data-backed, plans and data-backed evaluation about ability is super important and helpful, in just charting out the next steps and the path to success, I would say.
Yeah, especially the steps which you guys provide, follow these steps for SG. So whenever I find like, no, I'm not able to do this, whatever you have given, you come up with some other solutions to me that, okay, do this, it will help you increase your memory. And you also ask me to introspect, what do you think has gone wrong? I think that's what helped me realize that these
Mm-hmm.
things that, I'm not having that, muscle memory to focus for 2 hours straight, and then I'm like not following this meaning based approach because I was wary of the time. I was always keeping a tab of what
Mm-hmm.
time, like how much time has gone and all. I think introspecting myself also helped me a lot.
Yes, very true. Because it's quite subjective, right? You know
Hmm.
where you are going wrong. I can just give you the macro picture as to this topic looks weak, but you have to identify why this topic is weak. And yes, that introspection, that strategic review is super critical. So can you give us a bit of insight as to, I know that for your reattempt, we stressed a lot on strategic review and error log. So what kind of role did they play in that improvement?
Strategic review. Yeah. For SC, I was like, I know all the concepts. So whenever I used to go and do an SC concepts well, I was doing good.
Mm-hmm.
But when I gave the exam or when I'm doing I was faltering. I was not sure like what exactly was happening. So then when I started maintaining this error log, and then I watched a detailed video of which you guys shared of how you fill the error log precisely and concise, especially for SC.
Mm,
I started filling that error log in such a way that I need not go back to the question, just see
mhm,
the what we say log, and then you get a picture of what is going wrong.
mhm,
So then I started filling the error log more precisely, and I just realized that we don't have a lot of capability to memorize things what we have learned for a long time, so we need to keep revising them in
yes.
order to have that muscle memory of attempting in whichever environment we are going to give the exam. I think so having that error log and then just going through the last 10 or 20 questions, or maybe the complete error log of 40 to 50 questions, right? Just easy, it's an easier way. I'm able to recap all the things which I'm forgetting,
Mhm,
and then making a quick note of the things which I'm not able to remember, or the new error logs which I'm filling up, and that helped me to prepare for this SC section in a very quick manner.
Got it, got it. So this was the verbal journey. Quant also, I know that you mentioned that you were comfortable with quant, but in the first mock, the score was 30,
Mm-hmm.
right? So a 10-point improvement in quant is also um,
Yes.
substantial, right? So can
Yeah.
you just give us an insight into how did you go about improving in
Yeah.
quants
So
and
quant, I have literally followed e-GMAT and nothing else. I followed all the section process or the steps which you used to ask me to
mm-hmm,
take, like maybe either like taking 10 medium quiz of quant, and then going for hard, and then getting this much amount of percentile only, then going to the next,
mm-hmm,
taking an error log of where I'm going wrong. I
mm-hmm,
just followed the exact same process which is given in e-GMAT.
mm-hmm.
uh, that's it, and after that in my second attempt I was able to score 47.
Yeah, I know. It was verbal that let you down. So I'm
Yes.
sure, we are talking about that first attempt. I know that it wasn't a pleasant experience. You were heartbroken, right? After putting in
Totally.
so much of an effort. But uh, kudos to you that you were able to pick yourself up from that and put that effort that was required to help you get to your target score, right? Uh,
Yeah.
so you've already mentioned how this journey from towards your reattempt was that we worked on a lot of mixed quizzes to just build that test taking skills, used a lot of strategic review, error log to identify where you're faltering to zero in on those areas and fix them, right? Uh, so, Maunika, the important thing is, since I've been working with you for some time, I know that as a working professional, taking the time out for preparation didn't come easy.
Yes.
Before the first attempt, there were a lot of gaps, right? So,
Lot of.
yes. So, can you tell us how did you eventually manage balancing your preparation and work and what would you suggest other working professionals?
Yeah. So during my first attempt, it's true that I was not consistent little bit, because I was very my work was very hectic during that time. Sometimes I couldn't study for straight 3 to 4 days, even that's half an hour study or 1 hour study. I couldn't do that. My work was not allowing me to do it, and I was like got accustomed to studying only at a particular time. Say suppose maybe 8 to 9 in the morning, or even night 10 to 11. That's it. Like
Mm-hmm,
after those hours, like I couldn't focus, maybe because I'm feeling tired of because of work or some other things. I couldn't
mm-hmm,
study after that. So I didn't give much thought over it, that that's not it's like it's okay. Anyway, I'm studying for 1 or 2, 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the evening. Anyway, I'm good doing it for 2 to 2.5 hours. That makes whoa, that will work. But when I took the first attempt, it was like early in the morning, 8 o'clock. So I had to literally wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, which is not my comfort zone.
mm-hmm,
And I was very sleepy during the exam. And which is then I realized that, these are all the things that are going to matter while you're taking the exam. Apart
mm-hmm,
from, learning the concepts, following the process, you have to build up on a lot of things, like your muscle memory of solving the questions at any environment they are being provided. So then what I did during my time between my first and second mock, I focused on solving problems, in say suppose I take a quiz, custom quiz, pause it, and even when I'm in work environment or when I'm at work, I just open and solve one RC or one CR or two to three CRs in that environment. Because that is something like we couldn't afford someone see working on it. I'll be in a bunch of people and be among bunch of people. So it's like I tried solving those questions in that environment, and I used to, whenever I tried waking up at 6:30 in the morning and then tried few of the questions, and especially one day before the exam, I was like, no, I shouldn't feel sleepy this time. So I was like, one day before, I didn't, one day before I slept late and then woke up at 6 o'clock. So and then I didn't sleep the whole day, so that I get to sleep early the day before the exam. I slept at around 9:30, very early, and then I woke up at 5:30. I was very fresh. I was not feeling very sleepy one day before the exam. I was like, and I made sure that I get to solve the problems in stress environment out of my comfort zone. So this time when I was taking the mock, I know that I have already been, doing these things uh, for quite some time. So it won't make a difference. So it's like, I think there's some muscle memory in it. I was wary. I was, something subconsciously going on in my mind that, okay, this is the exam environment. I'm giving the exam. But then I think that muscle memory which I've built up didn't, let me be, get stressed or something. I just took the exam how I used to take it when during normal times, when I'm sitting before laptop or during work environment. I think that what made the difference between my first and second attempt.
So I think that comfort with the questions, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
yeah, we always tell students that, take the mocks as though they're actual tests and take the tests as though they're mocks, you know.
Yeah, that's
Because
totally true. And also, I forgot to mention this that I was very casual while taking my second second GMAT exam. I just booked the date. Like I mentioned to you before that my dates were not available that week actually. They immediately, I don't know, I think 2 days before I checked it and I could find a date. I was like, I took them on just yesterday. Why not take it 2 days after? So I was like, okay, let's take it. I emailed you the same, and then okay, let's say she's like, okay, let's go for it. And I'm like, okay, let's book it. I just booked it one day before and then went on taking the exam.
Yeah, I know, I know. I think as much as the effort that you put into building your ability, a good mental makeup and these certain test taking skills go a long way, finally bringing
Yeah.
everything together and getting a score that a person is wanting
I
to achieve.
think, yeah, the main, I would say someone who is taking GMAT is not just a test of concepts or, following the approach. It's all about you being consistent and building that memory and mental preparation of taking the exam in different and timed environment.
Yeah, very, very true.
How
So,
you manage all these things together?
and it all came together in your second attempt, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So looking back now, Maunika, at the journey that you've had, if you have to tell, the GMAT aspirants out there, what are the, say, three key things, three key tips that you would want to share with them so that they
Okay.
can get to their
The
goal?
first tip I would say is don't rush things. Like anything, don't rush. Maybe see you want to complete a section of verbal or say quant. Just do it in your own time. Maybe it will take you are taking too much time to solve the questions in the beginning, but take your time so that you have that memory in you, so that later on it will be very easier for you uh, to revise the questions. It's valid for all the concepts like even
Mm-hmm.
verbal, quant, geometry, or ASC, CR. That's the main thing. And even while taking the exam, do not rush and do not panic that your time is able to if you are taking a lot of time on a single question. It's like, since it's an adaptive test, you need to be very calm while taking the exam. I'll just suggest them to not worry of the time, get worried about the time for the first 20 to 30 minutes at least. Be calm. Don't even see the timer. I even off the timer for my first, I guess, 20 questions.
Okay.
Off
Yeah.
the timer. Take your exam. Be very calm while taking the exam.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
second is, I would say, be consistent and know how to manage your time.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm.
very important. Being a working professional, it was not always easy for me, take time out. Uh, and focus, especially even when after a tiring day at work, when I used to come back and open GMAT, I wouldn't get anything. The very question which I did correct last day, I wouldn't get it right because I was very
Mm-hmm.
stressed out or
Mm-hmm.
tired out. So be consistent, but also make sure that you whatever time you're allocating to the GMAT is worth it.
Yeah.
You learn
Yeah.
something out of it. Do not rush.
That's beautifully said. And I'm really happy, that things just fell in place during this attempt. You got the score that you're looking for. And yes, I hope you get into the colleges that you dream of getting into and wish you all the very best. Stay in touch. And
Yeah,
yes,
sure.
congratulations
And
again.
thank you for all the support.
You're welcome. Anytime. Pleasure has been mine.